Welcome to Voices of Rise, the podcast that shines a spotlight on the women who are leading the future and shaping real change. These are honest conversations about leadership, resilience, and what it truly takes to rise. Get ready for powerful insight, bold perspectives, and voices you need to hear. Women who aren't just talking about change, but making a dent in the universe. Welcome to the podcast, Lucy.
Thank you.
So is this your first year at Rise?
It is, yes. Yeah. I didn't come last year, so yeah, my first time attendee. It's amazing.
Yeah,
really enjoying it.
What do you think of it? What have you seen this morning?
So I saw the open address and then the first panel, and then I've just come out of an AI talk, which was really interesting, a little bit scary.
There's a lot going on with AI. That's a whole different conversation.
It is a whole different conversation, yeah.
So you've got your law practice. Where's your law practice?
So we're based in Wilmslow in Cheshire.
And it's family law?
Exclusively family law,
okay.
yes.
So what made you decide to go into that side of law then, Lucy?
You know, I always ask myself this, and I'm not actually 100% sure, but I always knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. I think my logical brain thought that problem solving would be a good thing for me. And I think maybe because both my parents were social workers, so I was brought up very much in an environment of helping families that were going through difficult times. So I think it was that probably prompted me into family law, and I thought it'd be interesting, useful work with every case being different and being in a position to actually help people.
How long have you been actually practicing now?
20 years now.
Wow, is it 20 years?
20 years this year. Yeah.
So what do you think are the main qualities that a good family lawyer needs?
Empathy. Definitely empathy, understanding, patience, and tenacity. I think, you are in a very privileged position that somebody is coming to you for advice and assistance in a really, really difficult time. So obviously you give them expert advice, you guide them through the legal process, you set out their options, but you can't do that effectively with somebody that's going through a trauma if you don't understand what they're going through and you don't listen to them. So I think having that empathetic ear, listening to what they want to achieve is really important, rather than just telling them what the legal position is. You need to think about what is the legal position that's best for them in their situation, and you really have to understand people and to listen to get to that.
That human aspect and getting to know people
100%,
is so important, isn't it? So you started off your career working for a firm, didn't you? A big firm, and now you have your own business. So why did you decide to go it alone, as it were? That was a big step.
It was, yeah, because I worked for a big corporate practice that has offices all over the country with thousands of employees. And, I absolutely loved it. Don't get me wrong. I really did love it. But after I had my two boys, it just became increasingly difficult working in that environment. And I didn't have the work-life balance that I wanted. So it was really that pushed me to do something different. And it was a really scary thing to do. Obviously I'd been a solicitor for a long time and I knew how to do that and was good at it,
and you were very established in the firm you were at.
But then running and owning your own business, nobody teaches you how to do that. Certainly not at law school, they don't teach you how to do that. So it was a really big step, but I just felt I was at a crossroads in my life where I needed something completely different that I could fit around the family. And actually it's gone really well, and I'm now in the privileged position of employing other people in the same circumstances that I was in, who have had a family and need that work-life balance and need that understanding.
So you've actually got a team of people now. So you went from being a solicitor in a firm, to you were the one who was leading the way, who's in charge, who's the boss, basically.
Yes,
that's a whole different ball game. So,
it is, yeah.
And how do you find it compares to your old life? Would you go back?
Never. I'd never go back. No. And well, I would never go back, but I wouldn't change it either.
Right.
Because it made me see things completely differently. It gave me huge opportunities to work with amazing people and to work on really complex, high-value cases, which I still do now. So I would never change it, but I would never go back.
But you also need the business skills to be able to build your own business. So it's not just about being a solicitor anymore. It's about being a business owner. It's about being a manager. So how did you get to grips with all those extra skills as well?
I mean, I'm still doing that. And that is something that I don't think anyone ever really has all the answers to, because it's a constant learning curve. But I think, again, through using the skills that I already had, like listening and empathy that I mentioned before. And, I think the thing that's really special about the firm that I've built is that everybody in that environment, I hope, would say that they're given the courage to speak and to ask for what they want and ask for what they need and the help that they need, which in my experience is not the atmosphere of a corporate environment. So it's just trying to create something that I was comfortable with. And a culture
specific to Sinclair law.
Yeah.
Can you describe that culture then? What is your dream for the ideal culture at Sinclair law? What do you hope people will say about working there?
What I would really hope that people said is that it is a really, truly supportive team environment. And I know a lot of law firms have teamwork on their tick box, but there's no competition in our firm. So a lot of law firms I've worked in previously and that I still know, there's a lot of competition between the solicitors in terms of who's billing the most, who's billed the most hours, who's got the most high value clients. Whereas we're really trying to foster an environment where everybody genuinely does help each other. And, you're not looking at what your colleagues are doing to make sure that you're better than them. You're looking at them to see how you can work together. And for me, that shines through in the service that we provide. And it's cyclical in that we are then able to provide a really high level of service for our clients. And then those clients recommend us to other people. We get more clients, the firm grows, and that benefits all of us.
And you're very much an advocate of women in business as well.
Yes.
You employ a lot of women in your business. And how's the business going?
Yeah, really well. I mean, we are actually all women at the moment, although that's not intentionally. It just has happened that way, and it is amazing that it has. But yeah, we're still growing. We're really busy. We're getting a really good reputation in Cheshire, which is great. A lot of referrals. Yeah, it's going really well.
So can we talk a little bit about the work that you actually do then? Because essentially you're a family lawyer, which is a divorce lawyer. But I mean, how do your clients know when it's time to approach you?
There's so many trigger points for coming to see a family lawyer, which probably a lot of people don't even realise. So we have a lot of people come to us who are in a difficult relationship and are considering a separation, and they want to know what their life might look like if they go down that road. How much are they going to get? What's their pension going to look like? Where are the children going to live? And then we also have people come to us in a real crisis point where, the marriage has completely fallen to pieces, possibly without them realising, or they found out their partner's been unfaithful. But then, we also have people come to us who are in a really amicable relationship, whether they're, about to buy a property with their partner and they're not married and they want to protect their assets, or they're looking to get married and want a prenuptial agreement, or, their parents are gifting the money to buy a house and they want to protect that. So there's lots of different reasons why people come to see us, and lots of different areas of work that we do. But I mean, divorce and financial settlements is the most common and obvious one.
Yeah, money. You talk about prenuptial agreements there, because there's always such a lot in the press about prenups.
Yeah.
I mean, are they effective? Are they worth the paper they're written on?
Definitely yes. I mean, they're not 100% automatically binding like they are in the US, for example. But if done properly, they can take away so many problems if the marriage is to break down. And I always say to people who come to see me about a prenup that, hopefully this is something we'll do now. It will give you that security you need, and actually you'll never need to look at it again, and you'll have a long and happy marriage. But just in case that doesn't happen, it can really take away a lot of the insecurity and heartache that a relationship breakdown can have.
You can see. Would you advise high net worth individuals to always have one? Ideally,
100%, always. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it can be used in so many ways. It can be used to protect wealth. It can be used to share wealth fairly without there being arguments. And it, as I said, I would definitely recommend it for anybody who's high value or even not so.
What's the most common reason why people get divorced in your experience?
I think the most common reason is probably the least sensational reason, in that they've just grown apart over time. They've just grown apart over time. They've changed through careers, having children, and they're just not suited to each other anymore. I mean, there's obviously lots of sensational stories that you hear about affairs and multiple affairs, but the most common reason does tend to be the quieter one of just grown apart.
So I want to know, as a divorce lawyer, what is your advice to married couples to stop them getting a divorce?
Well, don't do it too much, because then I'd be out of a
job.
Well, that's true.
But,
yeah. But I think communication. I listen to so many people who have stopped communicating a long time ago, and it's too long to get it back. So I would say communication, talking, spending time together, in a peaceful environment. Yeah.
And another question I'm really interested in, is there such thing as an amicable divorce, or does it not really exist?
It does exist.
It does?
It does. And we always try and keep things amicable. If people come to see us and they want to keep things amicable, we will do our utmost to keep things amicable. Often that doesn't work, especially when you start talk about money. Then that can be a really emotive subject, especially like business owners who have built up a business through the course of the marriage assume that that's going to be theirs and it's nothing to do with the other person. But if people genuinely want to be amicable, then we strive to help them to do that. But it's very often the case that does start to break down, and then you have to sort of make sure the person is in a position where they've got the tools to be ready for that, and to potentially have the contest that they didn't necessarily want, to make sure that they come out with an outcome that's good for them at the end.
You talk about outcomes there, Lucy. How long is the process generally from the start until the end of a divorce?
Well, the divorce process itself takes at least 6 months. No such thing as a quickie divorce. There's, cooling off periods built into that. But a financial settlement can take anything from 6 months to years. I mean, I've got one that's running into its 3rd year.
Wow.
Because it's so complicated and so acrimonious that, yeah, so it really does depend on, how acrimonious it is, how complicated it is. And there's all sorts of factors that can make it last quite a bit longer than people expect.
What is the kind of main satisfaction that you get from the job, Lucy? What is it that makes you think, I feel like I've had a really good week in the office this week? What is it that happens that makes you really satisfied with what you've done?
2 things. Firstly, when I see a client come to the end of their journey and they have a new sense of financial security and a new sense of confidence, and they've reached the light at the end of the tunnel that we kept telling them that was there, that is really satisfying, because you can really see in a concrete way how you've helped somebody. And the other thing is when I see my staff have that with their clients, and I can see how fulfilled that makes them. So yeah, it's twofold in that respect.
You were talking about empathy, and it's interesting because I was talking to a leadership coach earlier, Rebecca Ray, brilliant leadership coach, and she was saying that empathy is huge when it comes to being a good leader. But do you find it hard to switch off when you've heard all these emotional stories and been so invested in someone's journey?
It is hard to switch off, and we're all human. You do take things home with you and think about them at night, and and I don't think I'd be able to do what I do effectively if I did completely switch off, because I just couldn't ever completely remove all of that from my mind. And I think every single journey that I go on with somebody, it changes the way I deal with the next person. But yeah, I mean, I do try and relax, do a lot of sport. I've got a sprained ankle, but yeah, I try and be active and do things that sort of takes my mind somewhere else.
Can we talk about the future of Sinclair Law then? How do you see the future of Sinclair Law? What are your plans?
Well, we've grown quite quickly and over the last 5 years, and I would like to think that we just continue that growth in an organic way, because we are getting more referrals from previous clients, and the more clients we help, the more they refer to their friends and family, and the more the business grows. And that gives me the opportunity to create space for other solicitors who might have been in my situation in a corporate firm and now have families who want something different. So the more I can provide that for other people and grow the firm, then the better.
Yeah, and we talked. It's interesting you were talking about the human element being so important. Obviously, we've got the advent of AI. Does that concern you? That AI taking over a lot of the legal process?
Well, it doesn't concern me, because AI can be used to increase the efficiency of what you're doing, and that can only be a benefit to clients. You know, if you work more efficiently, you're going to provide a more cost-effective service. But the skill that we provide as a family lawyer cannot be replicated by AI. You know, every single case is completely different. Every single case has really small nuances that you have to apply the law to in a different way. And I think, and the human element of what we started talking about the understanding that person's situation, I don't think AI can replicate that. An AI can't sit in a meeting with somebody and make them feel better.
100%.
So, yeah.
Really interesting insights. Thank you so much, Lucy. And before you go, where can people find you? You're on LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
And the website.
And the website,
Sinclair Law website.
Yeah.
Lucy, it's been great to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and best of luck with the future.
Thank you so much, Nicola.
The Voices of Rise podcast is sponsored and produced by Applehead Media.